When my father-in-law passed away, I was stunned to learn he'd bequeathed his home to me instead of his own son, my husband, who then attempted to falsify the will. Frank had never warmed to me, barely acknowledging me during family gatherings. He'd mumble replies to my attempts at conversation and never once expressed gratitude for the dishes I brought to his house. So, picture my astonishment when the attorney called on a Tuesday morning as I folded clothes. "Mrs. Morrison, your father-in-law has left you the estate on Maple Drive, complete with all furnishings and financial holdings," he said. I dropped the phone in disbelief. The property, a grand Victorian with 12 rooms, vintage decor, and Frank's prized vintage car collection, was valued at over $2 million. David, my husband of 8 years, was in the kitchen stirring sugar into his coffee, his daily ritual. 2 cups, 3 sugar cubes, no cream, always the same. "That's absurd," he said, his face paling. The mug slipped from his grip, shattering on the tile. "Dad would never give you anything. He barely put up with you." I told him, "The reading is tomorrow at 2 p.m., still reeling from the news. That night, David paced our bedroom restlessly. "There's got to be a reason. Maybe the meds clouded his mind. Maybe someone swayed him." "David, your dad was lucid to the end," I replied. "Lucid enough to cut out his only son?" he shot back. The next day, we sat in Mr. Henderson's wood-paneled office. David's hands trembled as the lawyer read the will with calm precision. "To my daughter-in-law, Sarah Morrison, who showed me more true care in 8 years than my son did in 35, I leave my residence at 1247 Maple Drive, its contents, and my investment portfolio worth $1.2 million. David leapt up, as if struck by lightning. "This is a mistake. Dad was ill, disoriented. Sarah influenced him during those visits." Mr. Henderson adjusted his glasses coolly. "Your father visited me 6 months ago, Mr. Morrison. He was fully coherent and firm in his decision." "But why?" David demanded, turning to me with frantic eyes. "What did you do?" I thought of the Tuesday afternoons I'd spent with Frank after his stroke, bathing him when David was too busy with work, reading detective stories when David avoided hospitals, sitting through chemo when David couldn't face his father's frailty. "I just spent time with him," I said softly. David's face contorted in fury. "We're fighting this." "No way." "Actually," Mr. Henderson cut in, producing a sealed envelope, "your father left something else, a letter. He anticipated you might dispute this." David paled. "What kind of letter?" The lawyer's face grew stern as he skimmed it. "One that details precisely why he chose your wife over you." David gripped my arm so tightly I flinched, his fingers pressing into my skin. "We're leaving. Now." In the car, he was quiet until a stoplight on Main Street, then turned to me, eyes icy and scheming. "You'll sign the house over to me tomorrow." "David, I don't think... Or I'll ensure you never see a cent. I'll tie you up in court for years." That night, I woke at 2:17 a.m. to find David hunched over his laptop in the dark, the screen glowing with a PDF of Frank's will, my name replaced with his. The blue light highlighted his focused expression, tongue slightly out, like when he balanced our budget or built furniture. "What are you doing?" I whispered. He whirled around, nearly toppling the chair, and snapped the laptop shut. "Nothing. Go back to bed, Sarah." But I'd seen it all. My hands shook as I retreated to the hall, feet quiet on the wood. "David, that's illegal. You could go to jail for forgery." "No one's going to jail," he said, his voice unnervingly steady. "You'll keep quiet, and we'll submit this fixed version to Henderson tomorrow." "Fixed version?" I stared, incredulous. "That's fraud, a felony." "That's fairness," he snapped, his composure breaking. "I'm his son, his blood. I deserve that house, not some woman who arrived 8 years ago and played caretaker to win his favor." His harsh words struck like a blow. This was the man who'd wept at our vows, brought me soup during illness, held me through 3 losses. Now, he was a stranger. "Your dad knew exactly what he wanted," I said, steadying my voice. David laughed, a bitter, empty sound. "My father was a frail old man you cunningly swayed. Those Tuesday visits? I know what you were up to. Planting ideas, turning him against me, making yourself essential for his will. I cared for him because you wouldn't," I retorted. "I had a job, real duties. I couldn't drop everything to play nurse like some jobless spouse." The jab hurt. He'd persuaded me to quit teaching 3 years ago, claiming his income was enough, a move I now saw as control, not care. He was dying, David. He needed family. His face twisted with pent-up anger. "Don't preach to me about family. You can't imagine growing up with him. Constant judgment, unreachable expectations, good grades, sports, law school. Nothing was ever enough. So you left him when he needed you most. I shielded myself from his poison, something you wouldn't get with your perfect family. I turned to call Mr. Henderson, but David grabbed my wrist, squeezing until I gasped in pain. "Where are you going?" "To tell the lawyer what you're doing." His grip tightened. "You're not calling anyone. We'll fix this together tomorrow. You'll smile, say you were upset, misunderstood Frank's wishes, and we'll submit the true will. Let go, David. Promise me first, Sarah. Promise you'll stay silent." "I'm not promising anything. This is madness." He twisted my wrist until tears welled up. "Promise, or I'll make your life miserable. I'll fight the will, drag you through court, claim you seduced my dying dad for his money, hire people to dig up your past. You'll get nothing." "No one would believe that," I said, doubt creeping in. "Really? A young wife visiting a weak-old man alone? His loyal son gets nothing? What would a jury think, especially when I mention you pushing his meds? Those secret talks." I stared, realizing I'd married a stranger. 8 years, and I'd missed this. "This isn't you, David. This is exactly me," he said coldly. "You never noticed. Too busy being the ideal wife." He released my wrist, leaving red marks. "We leave for Henderson's at 1:30. Wear that blue dress I got you. Look proper." His smile chilled me. "And Sarah, if you cross me, remember I know where you sleep." I stumbled back, heart racing. "Are you threatening me?" "I'm promising you. Defy me, and you'll regret it." I locked myself in the guest bathroom, perched on the tub, mind spinning. 8 years, and I'd never seen this cruelty, this calculation. How had I missed it? Looking back, the signs were clear. Isolating me from friends, claiming they envied us, urging me to quit my job, stripping my independence, subtle digs masked as care, guilting me for seeing my parents. I'd confused control for devotion. At 3:17 a.m., I slipped out, David snoring, laptop closed on his nightstand. I crept to the kitchen and called my sister, Emma. "Sarah, it's 3 in the morning," she mumbled. "What's wrong?" I whispered the story, Frank's will, the inheritance, David's forgery, his threats. "Pack a bag and leave now," Emma urged, alert. "Come to me. We'll sort it out." "I can't. If I go, he'll know I'm exposing him, destroy the evidence." "Then what's your plan?" I glanced at the bedroom, David asleep, dreaming of his millions. "I'll outsmart him." Next morning, David was oddly cheerful, humming as he made coffee. 2 cups, 3 sugar cubes, no cream. He even cooked me eggs, a rare gesture. "Ready for Henderson?" he asked, kissing my forehead like nothing had happened. I forced a smile. "Actually, I thought all night, and you're right. Frank was ill, meds fogging his mind. He didn't mean it." David's eyes shone. "Really? You agree?" "I don't deserve it. You're his son, his blood. It's yours." "That's my girl," he said, hugging me. "I knew you'd come around. You're always so reasonable. It's why I love you." His manipulation was seamless, almost convincing. At 1:30, we entered Henderson's office, me in the blue dress, David's hand on my back. The lawyer looked surprised. "How can I help you today?" "There's been a mix-up," I said, voice trembling, not from fear, but anticipation. "About Frank's will." David leaned in eagerly. "My wife thinks she misread Dad's wishes. She was upset, grieving. The house should go to his son, his real family." Mr. Henderson frowned. "Mrs. Morrison, your father-in-law was precise, meeting me multiple times over 6 months to ensure all was airtight. No confusion here." "But surely," David cut in, "if Sarah relinquishes it—" "Actually," I said, pulling out my phone, "you should see this first." I'd spent the morning pulling and editing footage from our home security cameras, ones David insisted on for safety after local break-ins. The irony was rich. I played the clear video of David at 2:17 a.m., swapping my name for his on the will. His face went ashen. It's not what it seems," he stuttered. "Really?" Mr. Henderson studied the screen. "It looks precisely like you're altering a legal document, a serious crime." "I was upset, grieving Dad's loss, not thinking straight," David faltered. "Yet you methodically changed every name." the lawyer noted dryly. That's deliberate. David turned to me, desperate. You filmed me? Your own husband? How could you do this? How could I? I stared back. You threatened me, hurt me, tried to steal your dad's wishes. My husband wouldn't do that. Sarah, please, I was frantic, didn't mean it. You know I'd never harm you. I rolled up my sleeve, revealing purple bruises. You already did. Mr. Henderson reached for his phone. Mr. Morrison, forging a will is a felony. I must report this. Wait! David's voice broke. Sarah, say it was a mix-up, a grief-fueled error. Like your dad's will was an error? I asked calmly. Please, he begged, kneeling. I'll do therapy, anger classes, anything. I won't touch you again. Don't let them arrest me. You should have thought before committing fraud. Where will I go? How will I live? You're taking everything. I'm not taking anything. Your dad gave me what he chose. You tried to steal it. As police took David's statement and evidence, I asked to see Frank's letter. My dear Sarah, it read in his shaky script. If you're reading this, David's shown his true self, challenging my will. I hoped he'd change, gain compassion, but some never see past their own desires. You gave me more care in 2 years than he did in 35. After my stroke, he came 3 times in 6 months. During chemo, he never drove me. In the hospital, scared and alone, you stayed, reading mysteries, bringing food, holding my hand. David couldn't face me. You saw me as a person, not a burden, acting from kindness, not gain. David will say you swayed me. Truth is, he lost me years ago with his selfishness. You're the daughter I never had. Use my home for the family you deserve, with David if he changes, or someone who values you. Don't let his resentment taint my gift. You earned it with your heart. Be happy, Sarah, knowing someone sees your worth. With love, Frank. P.S. If David's reading this, I'm not confused or swayed. I'm rewarding love over blood. Tears filled my eyes as I folded it away. 2 days later, Mr. Henderson called me back. Your father-in-law left one more thing, he said, handing me a wooden box. He wanted this given after any issues settled. Inside was a key and note. Sarah, this unlocks a safety deposit box at First National Bank, holding my mother's jewelry, old photos, and a surprise. Mrs. Chen, the manager, awaits you. I've also covered the house's property taxes for 10 years from a separate fund, so David can't burden you financially. You'll keep your home. Frank. At the bank, Mrs. Chen showed me the box. Exquisite jewelry, photos from the 1940s, and a deed to a mountain cabin. Frank's hidden retreat, unknown to David. He bought this 15 years ago, she said. A place for fishing and reflection, his true peace. A bank statement showed $200,000 saved from his pension. For emergencies or joy, his note read. You gave me more happiness in 2 years than I had in 30. Live the life you've earned. That weekend, I drove to the cabin, a cozy, rustic spot with a fireplace and lake views, stocked with mysteries and fishing gear. A note on the table read, Welcome to your haven. May you find peace here as I did. Neighbors Bill and Margaret Thompson watch over it. Good folks, eager to meet you. There's a garden out back. Margaret says tomatoes thrive. You'll love it. Love. Frank. 3 weeks later, I filed for divorce. David, staying at his cousin's, called daily, pleading, but I knew manipulation from regret. The divorce was simple. Frank's gifts were mine alone, our accounts separate. David's lawyer claimed the inheritance was shared, but Mr. Henderson's documents named me solely. In court, I learned Frank tried to mend things with David, offering therapy, trips, business help. David refused, resenting any attention not his. His cousin said David envied anyone Frank noticed, sulking as a child. David's therapist reported narcissistic traits, urging more therapy and classes. 6 months later, in Frank's garden, my garden, I felt peace. I'd planted vegetables, tomatoes, cucumbers, herbs, the yard alive with scent. Emma and her kids visited weekly, playing amid flowers. Frank would have loved this, Emma said, watching her son chase butterflies. He did, I replied, tending roses. That's why he ensured its care. I volunteered at a hospice, reading to patients, guiding families through tough times. Frank's letter shifted my view. Value isn't money, but presence. An elderly woman, Dorothy, like Frank, loved my mystery readings. Her grandson, Marcus, rarely visited, caught in a divorce. "You're like my daughter," Dorothy said, lost to cancer a decade ago. "She'd have adored you." When Dorothy died, she left me her rare mystery books and a note, thanking me for easing her final days. Marcus fought the will, claiming I'd tricked her, but hospice staff vouched for my care. The judge ruled for me. Kindness isn't deceit. Accusers often expose themselves. A year after Frank's death, David wrote, forwarded by my lawyer. Sentenced to 200 hours of service and 2 years probation for forgery, he'd moved to Denver, aiding low-income families at a law clinic. "Sarah, I don't expect forgiveness," he wrote. "Therapy's shown me what you and Dad saw. I felt entitled to unearned love, respect, money, blind to what I had. Here, families with little give so much. A woman, caring for her ill husband, raising grandkids, still reads to kids weekly. She said kindness costs nothing, but means everything. Now I see why Dad called you his daughter. You cared without expecting return. I hope to become the man you thought you wed. Too late for us. I hope you're happy in the house." Dad would be proud. I drive by sometimes, seeing the garden bloom, lights glow. It looks like a home should, warm, alive, loved. Regretfully, David. P.S. I'm in therapy twice weekly, working with a sponsor, learning to own my actions. It's tough, but needed. I filed the letter unanswering. Some ties don't mend, but I was glad David sought change. That day, I planted a rose bush for Frank by our old bench, his mother's fragrant kind. Evenings, I sit there, updating Frank on renovations, books, hospice work, believing he hears, proud his love endured, uncorrupted by greed, honored by one who knew inheritance is chosen family, built by deeds. The house lives now, rooms open, filled with light, laughter when Emma's kids come, Frank's study now a reading nook for mysteries. I found his basement workshop, tools, unfinished projects like a rocking chair for grandkids he never had. I'm learning woodworking to finish them, feeling connected across time. Every Tuesday I honor Frank, grateful for his gift, security and the lesson that kindness echoes, even if unseen. He saw it all, ensured love triumphed. Last month, Marcus called to apologize. "I found Grand's unsent letters about you, your visits. I was angry, guilty for not being there. Sorry for the legal hassle." "It's fine," I said. "Grief twists us." "She loved you," he said. "I see why. Your time, your care, no strings." Now I split time between the house and cabin. Bill and Margaret, the neighbors, are like grandparents. Margaret taught me canning. Bill showed me fishing spots. They shared Frank's stories, his peace here. "He waited for the right person," Margaret said on the porch at sunset. "He found you." I've started writing. The Mountains Calm, inspiring a book on caregiving, grace in hardship, how those we help give back more. Frank's and Dorothy's tales are there. Love isn't hoarded but given, returning unexpectedly. A small press took my proposal, Tuesday afternoons. Lessons in love and loss, capturing its core. On Frank's second anniversary, I held a memorial at the house. Emma's family, Mr. Henderson neighbors, hospice staff. We planted his favorite flowers, shared tales of kindness, second chances. David sent a wreath. "Thank you for loving my father as he deserved. I hope to learn that love." His first nod that love's a choice, not a birthright. That evening, on Frank's bench, surrounded by my chosen family, kids in the garden, Bill and Margaret storytelling, Mr. Henderson reading, I saw Frank's vision. Not just a house, but a hub of love, laughter, everyday beauty. The house is mine, fully, but more. It's what Frank dreamed. A place where kindness thrives. People are valued for being, not giving. Where Tuesdays remind me love given freely returns home. That's a legacy to cherish, guard, and share with a generation learning true value isn't forged, stolen, or claimed, but earned by showing up when it counts.